Good morning. This morning we are going to be reading Genesis chapter 15, and we're going to read the whole chapter. So let's get started. After these things, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision. Fear not, Abram, I am your shield. Your reward shall be very great. But Abram said, O Lord God, what will you give me? For I continue childless, and the heir of my house is Eleazar of Damascus. And Abram said, Behold, you have given me no offspring, and a member of my household will be my heir. Meaning a servant of his would be an heir of his. And behold, the word of the Lord came to him, This man shall not be your heir. Your very own son shall be your heir. And he brought him outside and said, Look toward heaven, and number the stars, if you are able to number them. Then he said to him, So shall your offspring be. And he believed the Lord, and he counted it to him as righteousness. And he said to him, I am the Lord who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land to possess. But he said, O Lord God, how am I to know that I shall possess it? He said to him, Bring me a heifer 3 years old, a female goat 3 years old, and a ram 3 years old, a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he brought him all these, cut them in half, and laid each half over against the other. But he did not cut the birds in half. And when birds of prey came down on the carcasses, Abram drove them away. As the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell on Abram, and behold, a dreadful and great darkness fell upon him. Then the Lord said to Abram, Know for certain that your offspring will be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and will be servants there, and they will be afflicted 400 years. Pay attention here, because the Lord is about to explain to Abram what is going to happen in the future with his descendants. It's actually going to be laying out how his descendants, the Hebrews, are going to be servants and slaves in Egypt in the future. So let's get back to it. As the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell on Abram, and behold, a dreadful and great darkness fell upon him. Then the Lord said to Abram, Know for certain that your offspring will be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and will be servants there, and they will be afflicted for 400 years. But I will bring judgment on the nation that they serve, and afterward they shall come out with great possession. And that's a foreshadowing of the 10 plagues that the Lord afflicts the Egyptians with, and how after the plagues, the Egyptians sent out the Hebrews with a lot of their wealth and possessions, just asking them to go. As for you, you shall go to your fathers in peace. You shall be buried in a good old age, and they shall come back here in the 4th generation, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet complete. Pay attention to this next part, and I'm going to explain it after we read it. When the sun had gone down and it was dark, behold, a smoking firepot and a flaming torch passed between these pieces. On that day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, To your offspring I give this land, from the river of Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates, the land of the Kenites, the Kenizzites, the Kedemites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Rephaim, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Girgashites, and the Jebusites. Now, I want to just point out one section, is that when in verse 17, it says, a smoking firepot and a flaming torch passed between these pieces. Now, that is significant in just a couple different ways. That is, again, foreshadowing the tower of fire and the pillar of smoke that is going to lead the Hebrews in the wilderness out of Egypt and to the promised land, which is God's presence leading them for the time that they were wandering in the wilderness. But also, when it says those two things, the smoking firepot and the flaming torch passed between the pieces, that is God signifying that he is the one that is swearing this covenant. Normally, you would pass between the pieces, and that would be you saying, if you were to get into an oath with someone and you pass between the pieces that were cut in two, you are swearing that if I back out of my word, I am to be like these pieces that are laid out before us, where your life is forfeit. But the Lord swore on himself that he is going to be the only guarantor of this covenant. So, anyways, that's just another fun, that's just another exciting thing, that the Lord was the one that actually is the only person that passed between the carcasses. And so this oath and this covenant is based upon the Lord. And that's just to give you a little backstory to that. So anyways, that'll do it for today, everyone. Have a blessed day.